The Switch Mini is here, but is it what we want, what we really, really want? The original Switch model is getting a hardware update, and Nintendo is still supporting the 3DS, apparently. The Switch Mini got announced. It got revealed officially. I told you, haha. No, but seriously, it's here, it's real. It's no more rumors, no more speculation. The Switch Mini is a real thing. It's called the Switch Lite, though. It's not called the Switch Mini, which I had a video about a couple months ago called the Switch Lite. It was a leak from China. They had the little blue shell and everything, turquoise actually. I think that was legitimate. A lot of people wrote that off as like, I don't know. It doesn't have the right specs on the back. I think it was just a mock-up, and I think that was the real deal shell. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know for sure. But the Switch Lite is for real, and I do know that for sure. So all the naysayers and anyone who didn't believe it, here it is. You believed in Nintendo. You can't believe Nintendo ever. If Nintendo says something and they're real shady about how they say it, they're lying. They do it all the time. They've done it with every console generation. They do it a lot. It's for business. It's their business. They got to do that, all right? They got to say, of course, we're going to be supporting this thing that you invested time and money into. Duh. And they're going to do something else because they want to make more money. That's just how it works. That's just how the world works, all right? So get used to it. But the Switch Lite is here, like I said, but it's missing a lot of key features from the original Switch, and it didn't add anything new, really. It just made it smaller. We're gonna go over that right now. A lot of people are upset. I saw a lot of people online are upset with the Switch Lite. They're like, this sucks. Why the fuck would anyone buy this? Who wants this? What's going on here? And I do see their point. I see where they're coming from, but I personally am excited. But we'll go down the list of here of why the Switch Lite is not worth $200. There's no docking capability, which is the biggest problem for me, even though, you know, like I said, I'm still on board with the Switch Lite. There's no docking. You can't connect it to the TV. Maybe someone eventually is going to make some weird adapter you can just plug into your USB port, USB Type-C. What I mean? USB Type-C port and connect it to your TV. I'm sure someone's going to make that, right? I mean, people can do a lot of crazy shit, so we'll see. Some type of HD adapter or whatever, you know, something's coming down the pipe for that. Don't you worry. It might not be Nintendo, but someone's going to do it. But as of right now, no connecting to the TV. It's not a Switch. Essentially, it's not a Switch. They're calling it the Switch Lite, but the whole gimmick of the Switch, why it's called a Switch, is you can switch from portable to home console like that, like the Snap. They always did the Snap, right? It goes into the dock, it's a home console. Comes out of the dock, it's a portable. It switches on your mark. But it's no longer, but what are they not going to call it the Switch? Like the Nintendo plays Switch games, but not a Switch console. Obviously they're going to call it Switch. It's got name recognition, okay? This is a business. Again, even though it can't switch, it still is a Switch. It plays Switch games. It doesn't play anything else but Switch games. So why would they not call it a Switch? Grow up. I don't know what you're complaining about there. There's no HD rumble, which I don't see why they would put it in the console. The whole console is going to shake. It might fuck with like the stuff inside the console. I don't really know, but I mean, it's going to cut down on cost. So there you go. No HD rumble. Not that big of a deal for me. HD rumble is really nice. The subtle jitters and jerks when you do certain things. It's really, really nice. Put a lot of effort into the HD rumble feature on the Switch. But hey, without it on a handheld, I don't really care. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? 3DS doesn't have fucking rumble in it, so why do we need it on the Switch Mini? We don't need it, but I can see why you're upset. I'm saying I can see why you're upset. I'm playing devil's advocate. Not really. I'm just saying, hey, you don't like this, but I don't care, basically. There's no upgrade on the hardware. It's the exact same Switch from before, which I don't know why. Some people were rumored like it's going to be 1080p. They're going to make a new one cheaper, and it's going to be more powerful. Haha! I don't know why you thought they'd do that, but you're silly. But it's not. I'm sure that's not the case. We haven't got clarification on that, by the way. I'm just assuming as a lot of people are, that it's the regular, normal Switch. I think we would have heard something about it on the video saying this one's actually more powerful. Gotcha. They'd do that, but they didn't mention that at all. So I'm sure it is the exact same hardware as the original Switch. So no upgrade in power there. Sorry guys, sorry. There's a smaller screen. A lot of people were complaining like, oh, I can already barely read text boxes on the regular Switch because a lot of these games were made to be played on a huge HD TV, so they make the text box like too small to see on the handheld, and now they're like, oh, you're making it even smaller for the Switch Lite? God, I'm not gonna be able to read this, all right? I'm a 55-year-old man, I need my glasses. That's the whole argument there. The screen is only slightly smaller. It's like an inch smaller, so I mean, that is a lot. When you're playing with like this much of a screen, 1 inch is a decent amount. But I mean, I've never had any problem, not even close to reading text on the console. Do you guys not remember the Game Boy Micro? You literally, you play Pokemon games on that, you're just like, huh, wow, look at that. That's the Game Boy Micro, all right? This thing is like the size of a fucking tablet. If you can't read this shit, then I don't know what to tell you, all right? You're fucked. That's all there is to that. Like, I've never had, not even close to a problem, like I said, on the original Switch. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem at all on the Switch Mini, so, sorry. Then it is $200. People are like, $200? You took away all this stuff, the main feature that makes it a Switch, you did all this stuff, and you just priced it the same as a 3DS. Why isn't this cheaper? People are like, why isn't this cheaper? There's some beastly hardware going into this. Not beastly, God, sorry. But I mean, like, it's a lot more powerful than a PlayStation Vita. It's just as powerful as a regular Switch. Like, what do you mean? That's $100 off, okay? That's a third of the price off. Like, that is a huge price reduction. Saw someone online saying, like, if you can afford a $300 Switch or $200 Switch Lite, you can afford a $300 Switch. I'm like, what is that? What is that logic, all right? What if you get paid, like, $400 a week or wherever you work, whatever you make, and then so half of your paycheck you can get a Switch Lite and have the other half to take care of, you know, groceries, etc., whatever. Or you could use 75% of your paycheck and get the regular Switch and have only $100 left over. This is a huge price difference. I don't know where you live or what you're doing where you don't think $100 is a huge price difference, but it is. $200 is insanely reasonable. So I think that's great. I think the $200 price range, I think exactly what I was hoping for. A lot of people were hoping for. What do you want, $150? Like, are you fucking kidding? That's like the 2DS XL price. Like, get out of here. I don't know what you were thinking with that, but I think it's great. I think $200 is great, and I think leap up to $300 if you do want the detachable Joy-Cons, the dock, and all that stuff. I mean, that's a premium upgrade. You're gonna get premium additions to the console, and for a premium price. If you don't want all that stuff, $100 down, you're saving a lot of money, and you're getting a pretty good experience, in my book. But yeah, that's basically it. They took away all the features of the Switch that made it a Switch, detachable Joy-Cons, put it in the console, all the stuff that was like, okay, this is unique. Now it's just a handheld, and it's $100 cheaper. And I see why people are upset about all these things. I do see it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And a lot of people are just like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, Nintendo. Gotcha. No, I'm buying it. And a ton of other people are. Nintendo's stock after this skyrocketed, apparently. It just went to the fucking moon. No, it really did shoot up like hell. They're like, finally, the Switch Mini's here. You know how much people love dedicated Nintendo handheld consoles? I guarantee you there are people that didn't have a Switch already that are excited to get this. Be like, okay, finally, this is what I wanted. Just the one I can just bring on the go with me. Okay, great. I don't want to have to deal with these finicky Joy-Cons, etc., blah, blah, blah. I just got the whole little chunk of plastic right here. Boom. High quality. That's what people wanted, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that are excited for that far more than the original Switch. I honestly do think so. And this thing is going to do gangbusters, baby! It's going to do amazing, but we'll talk about some positives of it. It's got a D-pad, all right? It's got a fucking D-pad. That's a huge plus in my book. I don't want to play with the little weird buttons. D-pad, you know, you like the varying movie. You can like slide your finger across into this one. That one's just like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. It's not the same. D-pad, you need the D-pad for 2D platformers. You absolutely do, okay? The colors are awesome, and like I made a video on my personal channel about it because I couldn't make a FUgameNews at the time because I didn't have access to the camera. But I made one on there, and I was talking about, oh, we're gonna get a lot of cool special editions. And we already got one, all right? Pokemon Sword and Shield Special Edition. It's a really light gray console. This half of the console has pink buttons, and this half has light blue. It looks fucking awesome. The back of it has cool art from the legendaries from Sword and Shield. It's sick, and I'm like, this is just the first one, all right? We're gonna get like a Metroid and who knows what else, like some cool Mario ones, all kinds of cool shit. You remember the 3DS? We're getting that with the Switch now, and that's what I've always wanted. That's what I've been wanting. Every single original Switch console that we got a special design for sucked, except for that special edition Labo one that was like a contest only prize. That one was sick, but the rest of the Switches have been absolutely doo-doo. It's just like, damn, gray, black tablet in the middle, or grayish black, whatever the fuck it is in the middle, and then we're gonna slightly spice up the Joy-Cons. Only slightly though. Nothing too crazy, not for you guys, but then with the Switch Mini, they're like, boom, check out this Pokemon one. Boom, right out the gate, bitch. You get a 6th special edition, so that's great to see. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see. And it's smaller. Like that's literally the biggest point for me is it's smaller. I travel a lot, I'm always on airplanes and everything, and I gotta whip out my big ass Switch case, and I got my Switch, and so sometimes the Joy-Cons, I feel like they're gonna like fall off if I accidentally press the little back button on there. It just doesn't feel as good as a dedicated handheld should. It feels like a tablet with extra controllers on it. You can tell it's portable, but it's like not completely designed to be portable. You can tell that. And this is gonna be like one solid unit. I'm gonna be able to slide it out of my backpack in a little carrying case and just have a nice, solid feeling piece of plastic in my hand that I'm gonna be having fun with. Hopefully it feels solid, you know, it's because the original 3DS XL did not feel solid. The new 2DS XL feels like a sturdy piece of machinery. original PS Vita feels like that too, feels really good. So hopefully it feels something along those lines and not cheap. Really hoping not. And a huge concern that people had for the Switch Mini, which was Cameron's main concern, which he's on board now after hearing this, that they're like, okay, well, I have my games on my original Switch that I have right now. I want a Switch Mini, but I don't want to like start Zelda on my regular Switch and then be playing, and then like I can't play it on my Switch Lite because there's Nintendo's weird with saves. It's not just all saved to your profile like on Xbox or PlayStation. I'd probably have to do like a system transfer to this one, and then when I want to play back on the TV, I got to system transfer back over to that one, and it's like a huge mess. But Doug Bowser addressed this concern. He said that they're working on getting fluidity between consoles, so you can start an experience on your home Switch, your dock Switch at home, and then bring it on your Switch Lite on the go, and there's not going to be any problem. You're just going to be able to continue your adventure. He said they're doing that, so that is fantastic news. I was worried about that as well. I was like, I'm going to figure it out because this Switch Lite looks too sick to pass up. If that's the case, I'm going to figure it out. But hey, he said they're figuring it out. So that was really awesome to hear, and I think that was like the biggest concern for most people, I think. But so there you go. Your worries are for naught. It's gonna be okay, guys. Doug Bowser's taking care of us, right? If you can believe it. There you go. Pre-orders are not available in North America yet, as of me filming this video right now. They might go live like right when I'm done, or they might be live right now, and I might be missing out. But I'm watching it like a hawk. I'm refreshing the Best Buy page because I'm sure they will sell out the first batch, that is. And I don't want to be left high and dry because I'm going to Japan in October, and it would be great to bring that along for the journey. But yeah, watching Best Buy like a hawk. Apparently, pre-orders went live in the UK earlier, and then I think today in Japan, like the 12th in Japan. So I'm thinking probably Friday the 12th in America, pre-orders will go live across the board. Probably. I don't know why they didn't go live like immediately afterwards. Like the original Switch, it was like that. They announced it, and then it was just live, right? Like me and Cameron went to GameStop right after the announcement and pre-ordered one. I don't know why. Like it's literally been well over a day, and they're just the Best Buy website has it up ready to go. They're just like, not yet, brother. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, come on! So really just keeping an eye on that situation. And if you know any shady back alley dealers that can get me one early, hit me up. No, but seriously, I think the Switch Lite looks amazing. I'm very excited for it, regardless of all the cons, regardless of everyone else's dismay, like, oh, what's this and that and blah blah blah. I think it looks great. I can see why you don't like it, and if you don't like it, stick with your regular Switch. You already got it. What's the problem? More options is great. Well, this is some bad news, maybe even more bad news for OG Switch owners, original consoles, the people who bought the Switch from the start. Maybe they're upset that the Switch Mini, they're like, oh, well, I would have rather have gotten a Mini. Now I just got this one. You just bought a Switch recently, you're like, oh, I would have rather gotten the Mini, whatever. Well, there's more bad news, brother, for your camp. The original Switch is getting a hardware update, and it's probably more than likely going to be secret. They're not going to announce this publicly. I saw a couple people saying that, like, because Nintendo doesn't do that. Like, they made the brighter Game Boy Advance. They don't think they announced that really. It was just like, oh, well, you can get a brighter one if you pay attention to what the model number is. Haha. Other companies have done this shit before. But they filed with the FCC for a new processor and flash storage chips for the original Switch console. And this is not for a Switch Pro. Doug Bowser said we are not getting a Switch Pro this year. There was no slick wording about that. So it's maybe Switch Pro next year. There's been like some rumors about some chipsets and stuff in the works for that. But this is completely separate from all of that. This is, they filed a Class 2 permission change, which allows them to adjust an existing product without having to get the system recertified for sale. So they're just saying like, okay, guys, we're just tweaking the system. It's not a new product. We're just adding some new parts in, exchanging parts for something a little better. It's not a new product. We're not going to make different, it's not a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro or anything like that. So the FCC is like, okay, Nintendo, all right, you can, do that and fuck over the original Switch buyers, because I'm sure the new processor and the new flash chips are gonna make the console run better. Like, why else would they be changing them, right? Unless NVIDIA is just like, we're not making those anymore. Those are not cost efficient. We'll make these. It's gonna run the exact same. That could be the case, but I feel like that's not the case at all. Like, that just doesn't make any sense, really. They're gonna make it run slightly better. Whatever that may mean for whatever, like slightly faster loading times or blah, 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 whatever. So if you got an original Switch, you're like, dude, okay, I not only did I get the Switch Mini, but now I got fucked out of the better original Switch. Like, come on, this sucks. And I feel for you there, all right? I got an original Switch myself. I don't really care too much. I mean, mine plays fine. If this one is noticeably better, then I'll just do like an upgrade, and I'm sure I'll just have to pay like $50. I'm gonna sell my current one for like $250. So it's not that big of a deal if you got an original Switch. You just do a little upgrade there. I'm sure there are tons of people that pay you quite a decent amount of money for your Switch right now. So don't worry too much. This is kind of weird, Nintendo doing a little upgrade secretly. If they do announce it publicly, then that's great. Like, okay, you know what, guys? We're making a slightly better original Switch. It's just slightly better though. So, be on the lookout for that. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's just a little secret upgrade for the Switch. And who knows if it even is an upgrade, like I said. It could just be literally like, the performance is across the board standard, just NVIDIA found like a better way to do it or something like that. Like, who knows? I guess time will tell when we actually get our hands, or people get their hands on the new Switch, because I do not know shit about tech. There's a mouse in here. Spawn Wave and all these other motherfuckers are gonna crack this shit open and be like, oh wow, look, it's doing like gigahertz and clock speeds and blah blah blah. I don't know any of that, all right? So don't count on me for telling you, but hey, I will give you my opinion on what I think about the situation when it comes to fruition, okay? So stay tuned for that. And in another bit of Nintendo console news, Nintendo has quintupled down. I don't know how many times they've said this, but so many goddamn times since the Switch has been out. And now, more recently, after the Switch Lite has come out, Nintendo said they're still looking to support the 3DS. They're like, although we have a completely dedicated handheld-only device, we're still going to support the 3DS, all right? Doug Bowser came out and said this. He actually mentioned something about it at E3, but I'll get to that in a second. But his most recent quote was, we will continue to support our 3DS family of systems as long as there is demand. And that goes in conjunction with another older quote from E3 of this year, where he said, and I quote, this is a long quote, so strap in, our 3DS business continues to do quite well. Retailers continue to support both the hardware and the software. And as long as there's consumer demand for 3DS, we'll continue to support it. In fact, we believe it's a great entry point for young gamers. A 2DS at $79.99 with a game included is a great value proposition for a young gamer coming into the Nintendo ecosystem. And I always think that's fucking, why do we call it like the Nintendo ecosystem? Like there's like different, like we're in like a jungle and there's like the dudes up in the trees are like, yeah, I got a Switch, you young gamer bitch. Like, playing their Switch, like looking down at the baby monkeys on the ground getting their 2DS, like, they're gonna evolve eventually into the Switch gamers. It's an ecosystem. Like, call it an ecosystem. What do we got? Like some kind of, like, there's gonna be like, there's like plant life and shit in here. Like, what is this? This sucks. I know. It's like a business term in the ecosystem. I just thought that was always funny. Like every time I just think of like a fucking jungle and there's like gonna be a disease introduced and it's like, oh, the Switch gamers are wiped out. Only thing left is 3DS. Ah, the ecosystem's ruined. Like that's what I think about. I think of like an actual ecosystem when they say ecosystem like that. But I mean, I guess they say the 3DS is still doing well. I'm back on point here. I mean, if stores are still selling 3DSs and they're still selling 3DS games, et cetera, like, why would Nintendo not support it? They're like, we don't like money anymore. Sorry. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I understand that people want them to focus on the Switch. I personally would rather them focus on the Switch, but they are focused on the Switch, guys. The 3DS is literally just what it already is. It's the pre-built library. They're gonna get a little bit more third-party support. It's definitely not gonna be much, especially with the Switch Lite out now. It's gonna get a few, trickle down a couple more third-party games, but what you got is what you got. And if they can keep cranking them out and selling them, it's literally not taking any focus away from the Switch whatsoever. I promise you that. Manufacturing or otherwise, I guarantee it. They're literally just cranking them out, and people are buying them, so they're gonna keep doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And Doug Bowser, he had to let you know that if you got a child, introduce them to the Nintendo ecosystem, because they will prosper eventually and become a full-fledged Switch owner. You can watch them evolve before your very eyes. If you want to look like this badass on screen, right here, hit up our merch store, FUgameCrue.BigCartel. We got shirts, we got mugs, we got all that fun stuff. If you want to support the channel, but you don't want to buy merch, hit up our Patreon, patreon.com/FUgameCrue. For as little as $1 a month, you can really help out the channel a lot. We got a join button down below as well. Hit the link in the description. Hit the links in the description. There's all kinds of links down there. My personal channel, our skate channel. Cameron just made a new video on his own personal gaming channel. Go check that out as well. It was neat. And I'll see you guys later.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty. Thank you for your support.
There's a mouse in my house! Bye!